To yourself, huh?
Oh.
Oh, I like this one.
But you don't get one anymore, no? This. I didn't get one anymore.
I still qualify.
He doesn't get any anymore, bro.
I got it. I'm still good. I'm still here. They don't want to give me no more EE gear. They say that I don't qualify, but I still qualify. I'm still here.
That's it. He's out. He's done.
Who wrote it, Nick? I did it like 5 minutes before the meeting.
President Robert Smalsbury, Trustee Juan Ibarra,
Here.
Trustee Jason Peña,
Here.
Trustee Rolando Lozano,
Here.
Trustee Fernando Torres,
Here.
Secretary Christopher Morales, here.
No.
Board President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. We will now need a pledge of allegiance. Mr. Lozano, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To Mr. Torres, can you just lead us in the invocation, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve tonight, serve our children, serve our city, serve our district. I ask that all the decisions that are made tonight be made with them in mind. And we thank everybody for attendance tonight, for joining us in this venture. In your name, I pray.
Amen.
Thank you. Item number 3, comments from the public. Do we have any comments? Okay. Yes, sir.
Maldonado, that's the lady we talked to. She's not here. You can move on, Mr. Board President. She's not here.
She's not here.
Okay. Item number 4, superintendent's report. Mr. Cavazos.
Yes, members of the board, in your packet, you have the student attendance report or enrollment report. I'm sorry. You can see there, we're down, I think the report is minus 74 as of yesterday.
Okay, item B.
There's been an increase, right? Because I think there was more last summer. Yes, it went down. We had gone up into the 90s and then down into the 80s, and now we kind of got down to 74 that day.
With the bigger one being in the early childhood?
Second grade. Second grade is probably the one where we're affected the most.
Oh, that's right.
And sixth grade, 15, ninth grade is 40.
We need to send our marketing group to the parking lot at the old HEB as they're coming out of their bus and the parents are waiting. We should go and talk to them.
You want to do that for a while.
I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Okay. Any other questions? Item B.
On item B, this is an update on RCR, the JRG air conditioning pavilion project. Just wanted to kind of give you an update. Spoke to the contractor. We're at about 80% completion right now at this point. We did have a small glitch, an issue with the electrical, and he was told today by the power company that we're going to be able to connect directly to JRG without any issues. So we're kind of back to the original plan. So that was good. So we should be able to finish up a lot sooner.
Okay. Item C.
The last item is an update on JFK lighting. The lighting poles, we had those replaced over the weekend, so if you have a chance, if you go by that campus, you'll notice the poles are new. We replaced the old poles that had rotted away or corroded, and so we took those poles off and replaced them with new LED lighting at all over the campus, all the lights there at that school.
So it's 100%
Yes, sir.
completed, Mr. Cabezas? Mr. Cabezas,
Yes, sorry.
it's 100% completed?
Yes, sir. That one's complete. Done. Sorry.
Okay, item 5 is recognitions, A, elementary, secondary, 6 weeks attendance.
Yes, we've asked Mrs. Rocha, Francis Rocha, to do the presentations for us this afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just gonna move this over and ask you to help us and the others.
Wrap it down so we
Oh, no, I'm just trying to figure out this.
Well, this evening, we're very, very proud to announce our fourth 6-week attendance winners, and we know that we all are in competition and getting called who won, so today's the day that we find out that, first, the elementary, and I wanna say that, LBJ got 98.12, but I also wanna say that RCR was right behind 98.10, so. All year.
Right there.
You got to hold my door. His dignity will come out, so.
You know what they say about second right now?
By a hair.
Yeah, by a hair. Take it out.
That's right. Trying hard. All in there. Good job. Did you take it back? And, secondary, throughout junior high with 93.3%.
It's hard to say it's hot, right?
We have one of the students, back there, can you help me bring the, hey, my school has one of those, and you look through there. Next is, this, during March the 5th through the 9th, it was a very special week for some very special employees in our district. Our diagnosticians, and they're here this evening, they're all beautiful, so we're gonna ask Itza and her staff to come up, our diagnosticians. And, there's some that are not here, but we will still, call them out in just a few minutes. We'll still call her out, she's not. Okay, yes.
All right, this certificate of appreciation is awarded to Beverly Flores for your service and contributions to Edcouch-Elsa ISD in honor of Educational Diagnostician Week.
All right, and this certificate of appreciation is awarded to Elba Silva for your service and contribution to Edcouch-Elsa ISD in honor of Educational Diagnosticians Week 2018.
for your services and contributions to Edcouch-Elsa in honor of education and guidance.
These young ladies are not good. They're not here for just an outside anyway. Certificate of appreciation to Sophia K.
And Maria Garza.
Jessica Garcia and Veronica Gonzalez. Thank you all very much for our work.
You guys want to approve it
Yes, we need to bring them
I
back.
also want to recognize Viviana Sauceda. She was out on military leave. She did a tour with Army. Yes. Korea. All over the place. All over the place.
All right, it's going.
All right, cool. So she came back and
Only been in use for a year.
All right, ready? 1, 2, and 1.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
And they leave.
Just like that.
Should make them wait till the end next time.
Sure. Okay, item 6, consent agenda. Are there any questions?
Yes. I'd like to look at, P, approval of innovative courses to be used at the Edcouch-Elsa High School during the 2018-19 school year. Ms. Garcia?
Any innovative courses that we plan to use for the school year need to be brought to the board for approval before we can use it.
Can you elaborate as to what innovative courses you're talking about?
Barber is one. That is one that Mrs. Gonzalez wants to offer
Oh, I like that
for
one.
our boys. And we have Pathways to College, which is our study skills, college skills course for early college high school.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Let me pull up my page.
I guess this is where I'm a little bit confused. There's approval of innovative courses to be used at. So right now, are we approving this one? Or, I guess that's what I was looking to see. You're gonna present several items? I mean, right now you say
No,
Barb.
it's just those items. We just need to give you all a list of the courses that we plan to use for next year.
Okay, so then we should bring it back to the next meeting, no?
Right.
What do we, because this is under just presentation, consent, agenda items, we're approving something.
Approval. Yeah.
Well, do you have the list on you? We could just
The
look
list
at.
is right here attached on the.
Oh, it's on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it was in our
It's
board
your
packet.
Ah, okay, that.
So we have strategic learning for high school math, pathways to college career 1 through 4, barbering 1 through 2, nail care, disaster response is a new one for EMT.
Sounds good.
Emergency medical technician, introduction to engineering, and engineering design and development. Those are the courses that we're.
Oh, I think we can approve that.
Ms. Garcia,
Yeah.
when can we implement some of these programs in the elementaries? Maybe not as high-tech, but maybe like something for the kids. Right? Because maybe find a couple of them just so we can look more attractive in the elementary level.
We'll go ahead and look for those.
Okay. And the next one I have is M, yeah, Ms. Garcia there, approval of summer curriculum writing for Ms. Garcia. Want to tell us a little bit more about that?
In your packet, you should have there is a spreadsheet that has the proposed curriculum writing for pre-K all the way through high school. And it has the number of teachers that we plan to be hiring for each area and then the total amounts.
And these are going to be all local teachers that currently work for Edcouch-Elsa.
Yes. And we're going to be putting that on the application, that do you plan to be here with EISD? We want to make sure that we hire teachers that are actually going to be with us next school year.
Cool beans.
Okay.
We will be doing curriculum writing starting June 11th through June 21st. This will be Monday through Thursday.
On item L, have we worked with Project Lead the Way before?
On that one, Dr. Rios is going to be doing the presentation, so you may want to pull it until you hear his presentation, because that's why we're bringing it forward.
Okay, I guess we'll wait on that one.
I have a question on item C on the current bills. On page 2, there is an item, precision saw for 16,000. You know what that is? Yes, 217.
What page is that?
Page 2. It was, it's on page 2, the very first, because I know there's 2 sections. The first section, page 2. I can get you the check number. It's 196567, and it's dated, I guess it's February 15, 2018. And it's got, it's because I can't see the rest of the title, but it's called.
Yeah, it's called Precision Saw. I believe that's Fund 162. That's our CAPE program?
So that's the cake?
Yes, sir.
All right. I just didn't know that, I just saw the saw and.
I was gonna ask, is that the saw that was purchased or no?
No, it was several items.
No. Okay.
Okay, just wanted to see. And then on page 12 of that same report, we have an item called Square Panda. And there's a $6,902 item. Just wanted to make sure what that was.
That's a State Comp Ed 161. Mr. Ramos?
This is an item that was requested by the campuses.
What is it? Is it,
It is a combination of these manipulatives where the students can work on it, and it also goes into a computer. So it's pretty.
so it's like a device, or is it software, or is it?
It's
so-
a device you place it, it's for my campus. You place the iPad on top of it and the students manipulate letters and numbers.
Oh,
It
okay.
enhances the experience of just having just a regular.
Kind of like an Osmo type? Osmo? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like an Osmo. It's got like a little camera type deal that hooks onto a.
It makes the,
It's because it's similar to it. Okay, I just wanted to see, and is that for one or is that for several?
Each teacher got 2.
Okay,
We did not get to come up with a
cool.
it's designed to increase engagement.
No, I just wanted to see, just the name sounded kind of little, I was like, wow, what is this? I just wanted to see what it was. All right,
Just to catch me, caught your attention.
yeah, the price too, I just wanted to see what it was. All right, thank you, that was it.
Any other questions?
I'm good. Everybody,
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve all the consent agenda.
With the
Except item L and item Q.
So moved.
second.
Motion is made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All against, motion carries. Item 7, discussion presentation items. Discussion, first reading of TSB, localized policy update 110. Mr. Cavazos.
Yes, sir. Members of the board, in your packet, there is actually, under that item, letter A, under section 7, there's a Vantage Point document that talks about some of the policy guidance changes that are being made under Update 110 by TASB. That's a handout that you have in your packet. It's actually about 3 pages. It looks like this, Vantage Points. I was going to ask Mr. Castillo if he wanted to maybe perhaps address some of the changes that are outlined in the policy. I don't know that they're major. Most of them are just items that the state is trying to align, or TASB is trying to align to state policy.
Yeah, because we've already did this one.
Can we just,
Oh, go ahead.
can we table this item and come back to it for second and final reading? It gives us a chance to review and maybe ask some questions. It's the first time I see it.
We can do that.
Ben?
Yes.
We can do that.
Yes, we need to bring it back to the board anyway for approval, so.
So we would have, this would be the first reading, then bring it back again, and do that, take care of this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then need a motion to, table item A, 7A.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made and second, table at 7A. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against, motion carries. Item B, presentation of Carlos F. Truan STEM Academy proposal. Mr. Rios, Dr. Rios.
It's a great packet. This one.
Good evening. Mr. Barco, Board President, members of the board, Mr. Cavazos, Superintendent, colleagues, and guests. I come to you this evening.
Dr. Rios, I guess before you start, is this the one where we should combine L from the
Sorry?
consent agenda?
Yes, sir. Part of the Project Vita Way is will be discussed in this presentation.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the PowerPoint that he's gonna give you is in the
You have
gray
a
folder.
packet with a
It's in a gray
PowerPoint
folder.
presentation as well. I come before you all this evening to present a proposed initiative for the Carlos F. Truan STEM Academy. Back in February, I attended the STEM conference by Region 1, and in the conference, there were districts from all over the valley that are currently STEM campuses that introduced and presented on their initiatives, projects, presentations. And it was an opportunity for me to network with different districts and see what they're doing differently to engage their students, to keep their students in their campuses, and to basically challenge their students. So this evening, I will be presenting on the STEM Academy for Truan. Basically, what is the STEM Academy? And we all know that the STEM Academy consists of the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It is an interdisciplinary and applied approach to teaching. Rather than teach the 4 different disciplines separate, we're trying to integrate all the 4 subject areas into a cohesive learning paradigm based on real-world applications. What separates STEM from the traditional science and math education is basically the blended learning environment, and is showing students how a scientific method can be applied to everyday life. So what is basically the blended learning environment? It's a combination of a teacher method of face-to-face in the classroom with students, in addition adding the technology that we so much talk and discuss here in the district as to what we want our students to do differently and what do we want for them to apply. So it's a combination of those 2 different methods, along with doing some projects and problem solving within the classroom. And it basically teaches computational thinking and focuses on the real-world applications of problem solving. The implementation of this program, the campus will begin using the STEM curriculum this coming school year with only our 6th grade students. We want to be able to launch our STEM curriculum with our current 5th graders going into 6th grade. We would add another grade level on a yearly basis. So by the 2020-2021 school year, all the grade levels will be using the STEM curriculum across the children. A little bit of statistics on the importance of the STEM.
Dr. Rios, real quick, I'm sorry, before you go any further, are we identifying some of these 6th graders, or is it for all 6th graders?
It's for all 6th graders.
Okay.
It's for all 6th graders.
Okay.
Because eventually, as I go through my presentation, you'll see that by the time these 6 current 5th graders 1 to 6 will have all STEM educated courses throughout the junior.
Perfect, I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump ahead of myself.
So looking at a couple of statistics here, the program STEM curriculum, due to the high need of workers in STEM-related jobs. So according to a recent report in 2018, projections estimate the need for 8.65 million workers in a STEM-related job. Furthermore, STEM jobs do not all require higher education or even a college degree. Less than half of these jobs, entry-level STEM jobs, require a bachelor's degree or higher only. So there's a lot of opportunities for our students that will be going into these kind of work-related jobs to be able to have that entry-level positions.
Hey, Dr. Dios, and as far as our teachers, do they require special training for this?
Yes, sir.
So they're gonna be going to,
They will be, in part of in the packet, in law, when we discuss the budget, they will be attending different programs, different trainings. The lead teachers will be attending a training at UT Tyler,
okay,
and then they will come back and train the rest of the teams that will be part of the STEM academy.
and we have taken into consideration that we're gonna be needing some of these teachers for curriculum writing and some for summer school as well, so it's gonna tie up a lot of their summer. I'm just worried that we're gonna burn out our teachers. I'm just making sure we're letting them be aware of that, so I'm just worried that we're not gonna give them a summer.
Yes, sir, and the lead teachers are the ones that will be going to UT Tyler.
Okay.
They will be the ones that will come back, and we're looking right now, I'm looking at either the math or the science teachers in sixth grade to be able to have that training, be introduced to the rest of the teachers. The program selected is the Project Lead the Way, is a program we would follow because it is the leading provider in STEM curriculum in the country. They currently serve 172 school districts here in Texas. 10 of these are in the Valley. And in your packet, you have a list of the districts that currently have the STEM, the Project Lead the Way curriculum in place. And studies show that Project Lead the Way are more prepared for and attend higher educational institutions at a higher rate. So therefore, they score better in math assessments than in science areas. Project Lead the Way has curricular pathways. And it begins over here at the elementary level, kinder through fifth. And middle school will be the gateway. This is the one that we're looking at to purchase. And then eventually this will set the foundation for the other courses at the high school, biomedical science, computer science, and or engineering.
I guess to answer Mr. Peña's question, we can also look into, the pathway, the launch, right? I mean, for the elementary.
And in your packet, you have the list of those, I believe there's 3 districts that have it both elementary, middle, and high school.
Okay, perfect.
Right now, we're just trying, I think Dr. Rios is trying to just
Right.
kind of, step into the program
Correct.
with one grade.
Right, yeah, no, I was just, because I saw it right now and I figured that that's what
Yeah.
they should.
But it will be a good transition to the junior high. level.
Right.
Yes, sir. So looking at these curriculum pathways, once again, we have the launch, the gateway, and the biomedical, medical science, computer science, and engineering. And looking at the gateway, it is offered in 9-week units. So in a little while, I'll go more in depth into the budget as to how we're planning to roll these programs out at the junior high, for that specific grade level. A little bit more stats. Recent studies have shown that high school graduates who participate in retail were nearly 3 times as likely to make it in STEM. They were more prepared for attending higher education, and many engineering universities report high increases in scores due to this program. I'm just giving you a little bit of stat, a little bit of background on Project Lead the Way. I attended the session at the conference, and it was very interesting, and that's where I was able to gather some of this information to present to all of you. So how are we going to roll this out? We're going to do this through a collaboration team. Our teachers working together, implementing the interdisciplinary team of all 4 subject areas, consisting of our 4 set of teachers responsible for teaching the same group of kids. And providing greater collaboration among teachers and greater community among teachers and students, particularly during the transition to middle school. So we're introducing, not that they might have not been part of a team before, but we want to go back to the same concept in 6th grade alone, so that we can be able to launch our STEM Academy with that particular grade. So as we look at the different programs that Project Lead the Way has or offers, we have one team that will be doing biomedical, medical detectives. Another team will be looking at computer science, and another team will be looking at engineering, the automation and robotics, which we all know robotics is big. There's a lot of competitions out there, even from the elementary. One of the sessions that I attended we were divided into our area of principalship and teaching and so forth. So we were able to see the role students in all different grade levels and how they don't compete, not only in the state but national competitions as well.
Is there a coding subject in here somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I mean, we have that technology building right now that we could. We got
currently
plenty.
doing, our eighth grade teachers currently doing some coding, but in the budget, we are proposing for a coding program for both seventh and eighth grade.
Perfect.
It goes in conjunction with the STEM camp.
Awesome.
So STEM takes, students will take one STEM pathway 1 year and then rotate to another one the following year. So by the time they become eighth grade students, they will have been exposed to all three pathways. Okay, and I'll explain that to you in a little bit how we go through that. So as we get ready to successfully launch this STEM Academy, by 2019, we've implemented the project hopefully in sixth grade, which will be 25% of our population or grade level. The following year, we'll go ahead and implement it to Project Lead the Way to our seventh graders in 2019-2020. By 2020-2021, we've implemented to eighth grade. And by 21-22, we fully implemented the STEM Academy across all three grade levels.
I'll just mention real quickly, there's always a possibility that we can apply for grants, specialized grants, to try to help fund some of this, and maybe actually expand it to 2 grades in 1 year and kind of accelerate our implementation. But we'll have to look at that and see how that goes.
So I'm proposing a 3-year timeline. The first year, which is right now, we're looking at creating the sixth grade teams, which I've already started working on that, selecting the team members and then training them on the teaching concept. The sixth grade lead teachers, going back to Mr. Morales' question earlier, will attend the Project Lead the Way launch training in routine time.
How long is that, do you know?
I believe it's a...
What, like 4 days?
Some are 2 days, some are
4 days, it
Yeah,
depends
it all depends
on the subject.
It all depends on the pathway that you're going for the training. So some of our teachers will be going 2 days, some will go 4 days, depending on 4 days. And then by August 8, 2018, 7th and 8th grade teachers will receive the project-based learning training, and that's also part of the proposal on the budget. And basically, the project-based learning is all grade level, the whole grade level will be doing this, but they all will be working in a particular problem or challenge. But every subject area will be bringing in their part to be able to challenge or solve the problem. I was giving an example to somebody the other day about Valley View ISD. They were doing the migration of the monarch butterfly, and the science department was doing something particular to what kind of plants and what they needed for the migration to be successful. Math was doing the calculations of some other flower beds and doing some other things. The city of Hidalgo helped in, Valley View helped in. So each different subject area had something to bring to the table so that that project would be successful. And that was part of the project-based learning that they were doing. And then in the fall, our sixth grade students will be assigned to the STEM team, while our seventh and eighth grade teachers will receive project-based learning in what we want to implement. That's implementation year 1. We have implementation year 2. Since we're moving up, our sixth graders are moving up to 7th grade. Now we will set the teams for 7th grade, while 6th grade will remain in teams. We'll go ahead and create the teams. Our new teachers, 2 to 1, and our 6th grade teachers will be receiving the project-based learning curriculum and training on that. Because now they already have the STEM, now we're moving also to project-based learning. We have the 6th and 7th grade students assigned to the STEM teams, and the coaching will continue with any new teachers coming in. We have implementation year 3, the same process. We'll create the teams. provide the training, budget legal rate, on the new teachers, and then in the fall, we'll have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students assigned to all STEM teams, because now we have fully implemented the program and have the project-based learning as well. In your packet, you have a copy of the budget.
On the 375, is that how many students we're gonna be getting
That's an estimation.
estimation?
Yes, sir, because right now, our numbers, let me tell you what our numbers were at some point in 7th grade, we're up to 384.
384?
Yes, sir. In 8th grade, we were at 349, and in 6th grade, we were at 357. 7th grade was our largest class. So it's just an estimated number, and that will fluctuate based on the enrollment.
I was.
Now, on the automation and robotics,
84, 87.
I know that that's one of the biggest numbers that we have. This is purchasing the robotics that they are required for the,
Like a month for mayor.
you know, the number of students that we would,
Just purchasing the curriculum
All the
and any
different-
other materials that go with the program itself. Yes, sir.
now, I know the robotics require computers so that they do the programming. Is that also included, or is that something we have?
I don't think that's included, but we have that.
That would have
We
to
have
be-
that on campus.
Because I know that we have a robotics program, and those computers have to be a specific computer that it's ideal for the robotics. So that would be something else we need to look at.
So
So,
we have to look at it.
okay, all right, okay.
So looking at the budget, since we had a question of the budget at the, Mr. Lozano brought up the question on the coding. So I'm looking at CT Career Prep 1 and 2 for 7th and 8th grade, since we are introducing the STEM to 6th grade. And in addition to that, we're also looking at coding 1 and 2. So our 7th graders will be taking coding 1, and our 8th graders also will be taking coding 1, because it will be a new program to them. It will not be until the following year that our 7th graders will be going into coding 2. And like I mentioned earlier, our teacher right now is doing a little bit of coding, but just based on what she knows and what she has the kids work on.
Now, speaking of grants, I know there's a race to get a lot of these stuff funded between Apple and Microsoft. So based on what we have, and I know because other districts, I mean, they've told me that they do a cookie cutter grant, and it's like they're in a hurry to give them money, because both Apple and Microsoft are in a hurry to kind of get some of this stuff funded, and that's where they're selecting some of their.
Who would write the grant for Edcouch?
Well, we need to find somebody to do the grant writing for it. But yeah, and I know, we can discuss it later about some of the districts that have done it. And like I said, they're like in a race to get you the money. But then they kind of tie you in, and we'll discuss it later. I'm just saying, that's why I brought it up as far as coding, because there's an option. And I know they're eager to get some of this stuff funded.
For 2017, 2018, 24,000, that's, what is that 24,000 for?
That includes the 7,000 for career prep 1 and 2, the coding for 6,000, and then on the bottom we have the project-based learning that I discussed a little while ago. That is through Region 1. That's 11,200.
And then the following year it jumps up by 60,000.
Well,
Because you have to purchase all the.
yeah, we have to.
And then the year after that it drops down by 10.
So something's not making sense, Mr. Rubin. I mean, the first year, Mr. Ibarra mentioned, those 24,000, okay, that's the beginning, but the second year, 2018-19, the cost is $84,000.
Yes, let me explain that real quick, if you don't mind. Okay. We have the design and modeling program that we are purchasing for the whole the whole 6th grade level. So
What is it again?
Design and modeling.
Okay.
Okay, so we're purchasing that for the all 6th grade, and it's part of the engineering pathway. So we're looking at the 8,000. That only costs $8,295 for 375 kids. But then we look more specifically, and that all 6th grade will be doing that the first semester. And then we look more specifically at the automation and robotics. That is 39,000 for second semester. So if you look at the numbers, automatic and robotics will be $125. And that is for 125 students for that. And then we look at the medical detectives, that's another $6,468 that we're looking at for a different team.
Check the packet.
And then we're looking at the computer science for innovators. That's another $3,000. So that's some of the total. In addition, I've included the travel, lodge, and meal expenses for the trainings for our teachers.
I guess my question was going more towards, in 2018, 2019, you're starting off with, what is it, grade 6?
Yes, sir.
And those 375 students. But then in 2019, 2020, those 6th grade students become 7th grade students, correct?
Yes, sir.
So then your cost there, but my question is, in 2019, 2020, you no longer are gonna have 6th graders?
Yes, we are.
So then-
But they've already have the program in place. So all we purchasing there is the program consumables and supplies that we need.
You just
for
need
them
to kind of buy, you're
Yeah,
purchasing most of
and
the
I guess that's where we were
curriculum
all-
at one
'cause
time.
I was confused with the drop-off between the 84 and then 77.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming because you've already bought some of the goods
We
that you
already
need
have,
and you
yes, sir.
Okay.
We already have
Yeah,
the
but if
program.
it's software, how, I mean,
No,
how
but that's not
up to date-
necessarily, it's not necessarily software. I mean,
It's a combination of
It's-
software and
yeah.
and hard copy.
that's, I assume.
I don't, again, maybe we should have a workshop, but these numbers don't really add up to me. I think it's gonna cost way more.
Yeah.
A definite
O- o-
support
only
of the
'cause
STEM
we-
program.
Yeah,
I
only
think
because
we need to-
we've been down this before in the past.
Yeah,
and
because
the
if
cost
we're,
was-
if we're banking on grants,
No, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not backing
Yeah,
out.
we're gonna look,
Mr.
right now, the idea is to
Mr.
use a
Gauze, how many
combination of
grants does
sources.
Edcouch-Elsa currently have in place right now?
Well, as far as discretionary grants, I think we don't have any at this point. We'd have to apply for the
We
discretionary.
don't even have a
grants.
grant writer contract.
This doesn't include grants at all, right?
No, sir.
Yeah.
There's a budget.
These are
This
just
is local
projected
funds.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
These are
local,
just
that's why,
projected numbers.
I think the idea is good, and I think it's something we want to.
we wanna do, for
What's
sure.
a good starting point? Because this was just for discussion and presentation,
Right.
so definitely we need to address it later.
But the numbers are not making sense. Maybe if you can,
I think they're a little too optimistic. I would
Yes.
say you're gonna be in the $100,000.
our experience is a totally different one here.
Yeah, we
Well,
might
we
have
can-
to increase the budget.
We can look
Yes.
into it and bring it back again. I like to look at it again a little more closely. I think Mrs. Garcia, I mean, she's had experience with this
I'd
program.
rather
so-
these numbers be a little more realistic and
Yeah.
don't be afraid that, or don't be thinking that you're gonna shock the board with an outrageous number. It's just, I'd rather we be on point than come back
Yeah,
later.
it's easier to understand in the future. This is what it's going to be taking us or costing us per year.
Okay.
Once we get to the level that we have 4 years of this and it's a 4-year program.
Yeah, because part of those numbers include also the travel and the lodging and the training the teachers need to get.
But those numbers are constant every year. They're about the same, right?
And we're just estimating there.
Yeah.
Pero te digo,
Maybe a breakdown, a
Yeah.
spreadsheet, a breakdown, itemize everything for us so we could get a grasp.
And we
of it.
can split it up between those materials that we reuse every year and those materials
Yes.
that are consumables.
Yeah, the
And we can
consumables.
break it down that way so you can see. I mean, there are some areas that are identified as consumables, so you know that those are the items you're gonna have to replace, but the amounts are not as high. But most of the curriculum you're purchasing one time. You buy it up front, and the teachers use it each year.
Right,
So-
but I guess what we're trying to say is let's be a little bit more aggressive and less conservative.
And what's-
Because if we're a little bit more aggressive with a number, then we can budget that aggressive
Right.
number. And if for whatever reason it does come out a little bit more conservatively, at least we have that in fund
We
balance.
can bring it back and
Right.
just look at very
Well,
specific
yeah, it's the
numbers.
first step. No, it's a
Yeah,
good one.
first step,
It's
it's
a
a good step. We
And
just,
I think it's real important to bring up the fact that our high school kids right now by law are required to graduate with an endorsement, one of 5 endorsements. And this is one of the ways that we're trying to lead our junior high kids into one of those areas so that they can become familiar with a lot of those different, or each of those different areas before they get into high school.
Right.
But right now, as it is, 8th graders are going into high school and they're being told, well, now you got to pick an endorsement. You have to decide what area you want to go into, public service, STEM, multidisciplinary, the multidisciplinary area. There's about 5 different areas, but what we'd like to do is start with STEM at the middle school, introduce them to that, and then when they get into high school, they can start making decisions about what they want to do and where they want to go.
All that makes sense. We just,
No, and to
the
be
numbers
very,
don't.
yeah, to be very clear, we want this program. We want to, yes, we want to move forward. It's just, like I said, let's try to be a little bit more aggressive with the numbers. I guess that's what Mr. Torres
So
is
we're
kind
all on
of.
the same page that we want to.
yeah, I mean, and let's
Definitely. We just need to.
let's maybe group it right here, like on the first section, you have travel, lodge, meals, 2 days, 2,500. Travel, lodge, meals, 2,500. Travel, lodge, meals, 5,000. Travel, lodge, meals, 5,000.
Well, it's because, I know, but it's because it's per the grade level that we're sending teachers to training.
How many
because not all
teachers?
teachers are gonna go the same year.
Right,
So
but-
we're just trying to
right.
go to the second year.
The total budget's 15,000, it makes it simple, you know what, travel and lodge, and then you break it down, as long as we know.
Yeah,
It
well,
just-
we have other options, that we can go with the
Okay,
trainer or
yeah.
trainers. We don't necessarily have to send every teacher, but we'd like to try to get them to the
Oh, no,
training
yeah.
if we can.
No, I just,
But
Yeah.
the numbers, it's only because we've been down this before, and the numbers we were presented at one time were, wow,
Okay.
Budget amendments aren't good. So-
yeah. That
Yeah,
means lack
I
of
won't
planning.
screen, no.
Because, I mean, going forward, I mean, a budget's not a recommendation. A budget is a budget, you know, and they're not,
Break it down item by item.
Yes.
We'll do that.
Itemized
Yeah.
With all of the
Yes.
materials,
Yeah.
and we'll tell you which are consumables and which are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're in a good position, Dr. Rios. We're telling you to add more money to the budget.
Yes, sir.
I've heard the other way around.
Now that I'm hearing what you guys were saying, that's what I'm gonna do.
I didn't say add more money, just to be aggressive.
and I'm gonna say, we're targeting sixth grade, as you all know. Idea Academy's coming in, they're opening sixth grade next year. And that's one of the reasons that we're talking about this, is that we want to provide this as a motivator to our parents,
Oh, yeah.
so that they can see we're trying to do something for sixth grade right now.
That'd be great to start off a school year coming up with the program already in place. I mean, that'd
Does
be-
Wesco have this program?
Let me look at them.
Because if you look at our numbers,
Yeah.
a lot of our kids are going to Wesco, not necessarily Idea, to Wesco ISD.
I don't see Westlaco with on the list itself, but I do see Edinburgh there, but not Westlaco at all.
To go back to item, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dr.
Let's bring it
And
back
you already
next-
have teachers who are already
month.
committed to do these courses?
Well, our sixth grade teachers will be the teachers that will be committed to that because of the fact that we're introducing it at that grade level. And I've mentioned to them briefly about what direction we're going, but I didn't want to go too much in depth because until we have something definite from the board approved, then we can go ahead and present this a little bit more. But I created the teams of teachers based on who would be my lead teachers in either science or math. Yes.
Is there gonna be a stipend or something that we need to also plan ahead as far as those type of?
Well, because all teachers would be doing the STEM academy, we would have to provide a stipend for all of our current sixth grade teachers.
That should be part of the budget as well.
Would you like for me to add that? I will.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, making sure you check on that coding, make sure you pick one for coding. That way you can include that one as well.
For the sixth graders? Because eventually they'll have it in seventh and eighth
Yeah,
grade.
just so that.
Now, once we have the budget, Mr. Rodriguez, then we start the chopping.
Okay.
Can you bring it back if the board is in agreement?
next month?
Bring it back next month, Dr. Rios?
What about consent agenda item L? Because it says approval of agreement between, we'll come back to that next meeting as well?
Because I think there has to be an agreement, before we can even purchase the program, there has to be an agreement. I think it's
It's a $750 fee.
$750.
But where is the agreement?
The agreements, well, you have a copy of it in your.
I'm just
packet.
looking at it right now. There's a couple of things in here that I would like to hold off on.
So we
There's-
can wait on that.
There's like a provision in here that says that PLTW can change any item in the contract at any time. You know, that's not a good clause to have.
That's fine.
So we continue to table it.
Or y'all,
And
or y'all could
logically,
approve
if
it
you're gonna,
pending legal review, if that's what y'all want to do.
yeah, if you want to look at it, review it, bring it back next month, we have time in April, we've got time. We can bring it back.
Let's do that.
Well, we
I just
tabled
wanted-
it.
We tabled it already.
Yeah,
We pulled
so-
it. Yeah.
I just want to be able to bring it whenever we do, so that we can start having meetings with our elementaries, our
Yes.
parents and
Yeah,
administrators
check
and
this
so
out.
forth.
Okay. No, we'll get it done next.
I want that in all my contracts.
Then you'll come back next month?
Next month, sir.
I'll do that with the revised budget and more.
And include as much as you can, you hear from the board here, so,
Yes, sir.
okay?
You're realistic.
Yeah.
Realistic, but yes, sir.
Yeah, let's get
Thank
it
you.
done.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
We like it.
Board member only.
Item 8, discussion action items. A, discussion action to approve state of education regulations. Board trustees must elect the board of directors of regional education service centers. One vote per vacancy on the board, with the exception of South Texas ISD, which received 7 ballots. Okay.
Yeah, everybody gets their vote.
Are we voting?
Yes, Mr. President, very quickly on that item, the service center, the Educational Service Center here in Edinburgh is asking for us to vote on the candidates that are in place 1, 4, and 7. So they're asking you to choose one in each place. And if I can, to collect those, we can send those back to them.
Does anybody have a recommendation here on those?
Yes, well,
Let's go ahead.
Mr. Lozano.
I have a recommendation for place 1 candidate, Arnoldo Ochoa. That's my recommendation.
So I'm gonna vote for Alicia.
Okay.
That's just my
Okay.
recommendation.
Place 4.
Place 4, I don't know anybody.
Anybody?
Ballots.
I don't
But I'm
know.
okay with what, if he was a friend of Rolly's, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah, I gotta go with Alicia on that one.
Alicia has,
Hey,
You got two
just a
already.
recommendation. That's my recommendation. I give you a recommendation.
Alicia did very well here.
Ron, they don't have ballots.
We don't have ballots.
We don't have ballots.
Number 7,
Oh,
The
they're
ballots
there,
are right there.
they're
There's
Right
one
in.
for each one of you, I'm sorry.
We only had everybody's.
I had everybody. I was already. Yeah, they already checked off. Don't worry about it,
That
guys.
was part of the plan.
So place 4, any recommendations?
I'm going with the female.
I'm gonna go for Bobby Chapa right here.
The one guy.
Single entry.
Writing, Bobby Chop.
You know that for me?
Thank you.
All right. That was fun.
Now, this requires discussion and action. Ben, do we need to we voted?
No, sir, we could just move on.
Okay, thank you.
B.
B, discussion possible action to authorize administration to solicit proposals for IRC 125 employee paid voluntary insurance products, including group term life insurance, short-term, long-term disability insurance, and third-party administrative TPA for 403B, 457, and consolidated billing services. Mr.
Members of the board, I've asked Mr. Roger Garza to come speak to you today about getting approval to go forward with an RFP for our involuntary products. If you look in your packet, I just want to make a quick comment. In your packet, there is an item that's a letter that Mr. Garza is asking you to approve so that he can get the official notification to represent the school district. So I'm going to ask him if he can to explain that as well. That's in your packet.
Good evening, President
Yes,
Barco
sir.
and Superintendent Cavazos and members of the Board of Trustees. Before you stands this request to solicit proposals for RIC 2125 ancillary products. The letter that Mr. Cavazos is referring to is a request to the insurance carriers to release all of the claim data to us in the district, along with the enrollment census information, so that we can post that on the media announcements whenever we do the solicitation. They become very difficult towards when you go out to bid. They don't deliver the information correctly, so you get what we call a guesstimate or an estimate or a floating price. So employees are penalized at the end when we try to do the final negotiation. So we want to get the actual data so that the insurance carriers can quote competitive prices.
Did this go through the insurance company? Did it go through the insurance company?
What do you mean? The committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've discussed it several times already. And really all it is we're getting ahead of, we're trying to get ahead of the game as far as going out for proposals already, so that come next year, it's not gonna take place till what, about June possibly?
Yes, this is, actually,
Yeah.
it's the end of the 3-year agreement that we
Okay.
had.
Well,
So
I go ahead and
I motion to approve.
second.
Motion has been made and second to approve item B on the authorization of administration to solicit proposals for IRC 125 employee paid voluntary insurance products. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Asa. Appreciate it.
Item C, discussion and action to continue agreement with the Hidalgo County Appraisal District on modified schedule of entity assessment payments set forth by section 6106E. Ms. Garza?
Good evening, Board.
We received a letter from Hidalgo County Appraisal District. They would like for us to revisit our 1982 agreement on our allocation of quarterly payments. The schedule is first quarter due on February, second is due in April, the third quarter is due in July, and the fourth quarter is due in October. It is my recommendation that we continue with the agreement and the schedule set forth.
Okay, is there a
Second.
motion is made and second to continue with the agreement with Hidalgo County Appraisal District as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Rosas.
Item D, discussion and action to approve the purchase of 2 regular ED buses and 1 special education bus. Mr. Rodriguez Martin, good evening.
Very quickly, Mr. President, I just wanted to make reference to the report that's in your packet. There's a report there that gives you an outline of the buses that we have, and then the age of each of the buses so that you can kind of get an idea of what we're working with.
Yeah.
They have it. They've got copies.
I'll take it from you.
Yeah, Mr. Carson, all I'd say is on this report, it's a good report to look at, but how do I know I'm not looking at the same buses every year? And then,
What's the question?
how do I know I'm not looking at the same buses? In the future, can we put like a timetable? I was talking to Mr. Cavazos, maybe about putting a timetable saying this is gonna be replaced in 217, 218, 219, this, so we can follow
What I
something.
have right now.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
This is the actual fleet that I have right now.
Right, but like right now, you're gonna be replacing which ones?
We're looking at the
speaking
oldest.
For 2 buses, regular, we would need to be replacing probably 54
And 53?
and probably the other one would be probably 59. If you look at the mileage, it exceeds 194.
Wasn't
So
50
in reality, those 2 buses have 15 years, the first 2003s. But 2005, I have some of those that have almost 200,000.
What, how do you number a bus?
How many years
No, no.
should a school bus be running?
No. How do you number a bus? Like, how did you come up with number?
The numbers
Yeah.
on the buses, as we purchase them, we give them the next following number. So
Okay.
53 and 54 were purchased first, and then 58, and then 59.
What happened to 55, 56, and 57?
The other ones were sold. They were auctioned out already this past auction.
Not over that number of football, so we don't want that.
56? I'm surprised you still don't have that here, but.
No,
Is that what you're shooting for?
Well, it's 'cause I-
Just to have your number?
No.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't know what number Mr. Peña was, but it's,
1985.
Because based on what I'm looking at here, I mean, one of the bus with the most mileage, based on what we have here, is a 3-year-old bus.
yes,
You know,
That's
and
77.
that's
Which number is it?
77.
77, bus 77,
77.
line item number 22.
It's only 3 years old, but yet it looks
Has
like that one's been
171,000.
all over the nation.
Well,
Now, is that it? The activity bus?
22,000.
Mándeme? No, it has 171,578
This one
miles.
has 22,000.
that's probably the wrong information that they.
Might be a typo.
Okay, because I was like, wow, 3-year-old bus with 171,000 miles. Yeah. I thought it was a CDL program or something.
Yeah, I think that.
There was a mistake down the very first one. It might have been the one that I gave to
Oh, look at
Andale, okay, this is a little bit
It's the
different.
superintendent's fault.
There you go. It only has 22,000 miles, okay.
That bus was bus 77, right?
Los de que están cargando.
Yeah.
It sounds like we need more than 2 buses.
If you're looking at those buses, normally they should be about 10 years old. But practically,
Why are
A lot of
you
school
only,
districts
Mr. Rodriguez, why are you only asking for 2 buses when it's pretty evident we need more than 2? A minimum of 3 to kind of keep
That
your
was,
fleet.
that was my decision. In terms of budgeting, we didn't really have money allocated for that many buses, so we were trying to work with the budget. But like I had mentioned to Mr. Rodriguez, that's something you all can discuss. If you'd like to add more buses, we can
I'd
look
like
at
to
it.
add one more. Let's make it a 3.
Good, that's good.
I mean, and then every year purchase 1
Right,
or
but
2.
I think every year we should already have a plan already.
There
This
was a
one-
plan in
the
place.
plan was to order 4 buses every year.
But to replace which ones though? That's what I'm getting at.
To be replacing the aging fleet.
But the aging or the mileage, because there's some
Well,
here.
we're gonna go with the mileage, sir.
Okay, so then the mileage one
Yes.
should be, the order should
Kind
be
of
different.
prioritized.
Yeah.
We'll be going with the mileage
Are
in
they-
reality. And how the even some of these new buses that I have, bus 70, look at bus 70, number 15 down the line. It's a 71 passenger with 91,794. That bus, we just invested 20,000 on it. We had to replace the motor. Okay, so it's
So it's back to 0 miles?
a lot of the times, some of the newer buses have a lot of gadgets that are electronic, and they're giving us a lot of problems. And so consequently, we're having to deal with that. And some of the older ones, we start having issues with them, like transmission not working, functioning properly. And we have to send it out to a transmission specialist.
Well, you know, Mr. Rodriguez, you've been at it for a long time, you know what you need. And I totally trust what you recommend, so.
So you're recommending 2 buses, or you want to do 3, John? I mean, I don't know, I'm asking.
I say we do 3.
I say we do 3.
Okay.
All right, so is that your motion?
Yeah, I like the motion that we purchase, let me see.
And one special.
One special ed and 3 regular?
Three regular ed buses and 1 special ed.
Second.
Okay.
I had a question, real quick. I never asked this, but I don't know maybe, you can't lease buses and then every year get new ones?
For school districts, I don't know. I don't think you can.
Those things, you know, we can go on a purchase plan, like buying so many buses within a 5-year period and so forth. But
Yes.
sometimes it's not recommended to do
Yeah.
those.
You spend more on.
Yeah.
The amount of mileage. I
You
guess
get
put in.
maybe 10 buses all at one time, or 15 buses all at one time,
You get
but
15
you're still
buses.
paying for them.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
they're also, maintenance and they have warranty, you get to,
But you're paying, you never own it. It's like leasing.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it oversees the.
Well, I guess that's what we need to understand, is how much cost goes into maintaining these buses. You know, what's the cost of tires, transmission, engines? Maybe a little breakdown next year just with all the downtime and stuff like that.
What I can do is, per bus, give you a rundown as to the expenses per bus.
Yeah, the history of each
Yes.
vehicle, yeah.
My only question would be is that last year, I know we bought buses. And I don't see 2017 here.
No, last year we didn't buy, these will be purchased, but we won't get them until a year from now.
Okay.
So last year, we didn't actually get any buses.
Did we get our activity bus in already?
No.
Our activity bus should be coming in May. They're installing the air units right now in Laredo, and it's going to be sent to Dallas to have the wrap. The wrap should take about a little bit over 2 weeks. And if I have to, I'll drive over there and bring it down.
Yeah,
If
I
it's
do
gonna
wanna-
take 2 to 3 weeks to get it down here, I'll just go get it.
I do want Mr. Rodriguez to explain a little bit about the AC system, because he did beef up the AC system, so that was part of the delay.
On this new bus, activity bus, we will have one of the largest air units, like Greyhound and those individuals. We will have one of those units to where we are not gonna be having any kind of issues with the bus being too warm.
All right.
Is that an issue with our other
Yeah.
activity
Yes,
buses?
the other buses, we're having those issues, and we went ahead and retrofit some, another unit, a larger unit, in order to resolve the problem.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
then,
gentlemen.
thank you, sir. Then I will entertain a motion to approve the purchase of 3 regular buses and
So
1
moved.
special education.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item E,
Should have gone nays, just so we could read.
discussion and action on board proclamation and reject any and all district innovation proposals for the Edcouch-Elsa Independent School District. Mr. Castillo.
Yes, Mr. Board President, members of the board. Last week, as you all know, we had a couple of teacher unions in the area meeting with teachers about the District of Innovation, and I was asked by the board president to add this item on the agenda and also to draft a proclamation for the board to approve that that the district will not be adopting any type of district of innovation plans, and that proclamation is in your packet for y'all to review. And if y'all want to read it out loud, or if you just want to approve it, or if you want me to read it out loud, it's up to y'all.
Read it out
I
loud.
have Ron read it.
Let me read it very quickly. On the, in your packet, as Mr. Castillo mentioned, it says the proclamation is stated as of March 28, 2018. It says, whereas the Edcouch-Elsa Independent School District is a public school district in the state of Texas, and whereas there are 7 elected board, members of the Board of Trustees elected by places, and whereas all 7 board members are strong proponents and supporters of all school personnel, teachers, and administrators, and whereas the board believes that the Texas Education Code Section 12A.001 could potentially interfere with the contractual rights afforded to the hardworking teachers and staff of the district, now therefore it be proclaimed by the board that, number 1, all the above referenced paragraphs are incorporated into and made part of this proclamation. Number 2, that the board determines that the district will not adopt any district of innovation plan. And number 3, the board will always stand up for the students of the district and the hardworking teachers and staff who educate and protect its students. And finally, number 4, the board hereby authorizes the superintendent to fulfill the purposes of this proclamation, adopted by the vote of the majority of the Board of Trustees of the EEISD present and voting at an open meeting of the board on the 28th day of March 2018.
So moved.
Second. All right, thank you, Mr. Ross. Motion is made and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Item F and G, we need to table these 2 items until we get additional information. Need a motion to table.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and second to table item F and G. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Item 9, executive session. Superintendent requests the Board of Trustees convene in closed meeting as authorized by provisions of the Open Meeting Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. This executive session is in accordance with the Texas Government Code Section 551074. We are at approximately 8 o'clock in executive session. it's approximately 9:17. We're back into regular session. Item 10A, discussion and possible action regarding personnel considering appointment, employment, resignation, retirement, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Item 1, discussion and action regarding recommendation for business manager.
I make a motion that we appoint Sylvia Garza as the permanent business manager.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made and second to appoint Sylvia Garza as our business manager. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against, motion carries.
Congratulations, Ms. Garza.
Congratulations, Ms. Garza.
Vote of confidence, and I look forward to serving you as your next president.
We trust that you'll do a very, very good job for us as you've been doing so far. Thank you.
Congratulations, Sylvia.
Item 2, discussion and action on superintendent's duties and responsibilities.
Yes, Mr. Board President, council advises that the board authorizes the board president and legal counsel to discuss with superintendent issues that we discussed in closed session.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against, motion carries. Item B, discussion and action regarding consultation with legal counsel regarding a pending or contemplated litigation settlement offer, a matter of which the duty of the attorney to Edcouch-Elsa School District or the disciplinary rules of professional conduct, the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with 551, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, TX Government Code 551071.
No action, Mr. Board President.
Okay. Item 1, discussion and action, advice with legal counsel regarding loan from USDA to AG Farm. Mr. Castillo.
No action.
Okay. Do I have an action on any other item? No action?
No other items other than those as discussed in executive session.
Okay. Item 12, adjournment.
So moved.
Motion has been made and second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All against, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.